I'm Tiffany Vanderpool.
I'm Keisha Honey.
And I'm Brady Doster. We're talking about the Coca-Cola bottling company Consolidated.
Okay, so today I'm going to talk to you about Coca-Cola's current strategy and some of the modified building blocks that they're using within their company. So one building block that they really use is the efficiency block. And they do this when they drive their revenue and their profit growth. They have segmented their revenue. They're currently aligning their employee incentives to try to increase their productivity within their plants by specializing what each plant needs from their employees to do to be better. And in their emerging markets, they're really focusing on increasing their volume. And they're also working on strengthening foundations for future success. They're all about trying to be more efficient and better in the future. And another block that they really use is the competitive advantage block. And the main thing they do that's competitive is they have personalized production. So what they'll do is they'll go into a retailer and see what they need. So for instance, if Coke wants 18 packs of Coca-Cola products, they'll make them 18 packs if that's what they'd like to sell. And they're willing to do this and take a loss on it as long as it will build a better foundation for a relationship amongst the companies. They'll do this so that they can be more competitive.
Okay, so dealing with the SWOT analysis, the strengths of CCBCC include the brand image of, obviously, you have Coca-Cola. Everyone knows that's probably the #1 brand in the world. Very easy for them to ride the coattails of that. They also have growth. The company has been growing very rapidly in recent years. We'll look at more in the next couple slides once we see the financials. We also have community. They do partner with Habitat for Humanity and the Wounded Warrior Project, for instance, just to get their name out there and give back to the community that is buying all of their products. As for some of the weaknesses, they are still totally dependent on the success of Coca-Cola, because everything they bottle comes from a product of the Coca-Cola company. Also, they are virtually unknown as a brand. I've never heard of this company before this project. My teammates have not either, but we have all heard, again, of Coca-Cola. All right, moving on to the outside factors, we're gonna look at the opportunities and threats. The main opportunity that we see, and that we will address even further on down in this presentation, is recycling. Every single product that CCBCC produces is 100% recyclable. So improving relationships with these recycling companies, with green initiatives, with anyone like that will be greatly beneficial. As for threats, obviously Pepsi. When there's Coke, there's Pepsi. You have to deal with both. Another main one is economy. Soda is an unnecessary commodity in our eyes. Demand for that will drop in the event that the economy falls, or if incomes drop off, or the prices of other things rise. That's going to be something that is going to go down substantially in terms of people buying it. All right, so in terms of some of CCBCC's financials, we got the ROA, ROE, GPM, NPM, and just the current stock price, just for the heck of it. ROA and ROE, you can both see they've increased by ROA by actually a point, and ROE by a little over a point as well. Now that can be attributed to them simply making more money. They're generating more for their shareholders. Gross profit margin and net profit margin, that the gross has dropped a tad, the net has raised as well. The gross drop can be attributed to them expanding rapidly, and then the net, they're actually managing their financials very well right now, so they're actually still generating those returns. Stock price currently $165.04. That is on a bit of a downward trend over a 5-year period, but as of this last month, that is still shooting up a little bit. Good stock to get into right now, just for a short-term look.
Okay, so we are talking about two concerns today with the company. One is internal growth. They are growing so rapidly that they cannot keep up with the communication between each department. So things are getting lost in translation, there's confusion, and there's no communication between each area within the company. So that's one major concern that the company will have to address, and we will address later in our recommendations. Another concern is recycling. Now, the Coca-Cola bottling Consolidated company has started the green movement, and I think it's something that they should push forward and progress in, because they have had an incentive to recycle and push this, but they need to grow in this green movement. Alright, so we're going to talk to you about two of the recommendations that we have today. One of them is growth and communication. Now, Coca-Cola Bottling Company has grown so big that they have expanded and they cannot keep up with internal growth. The communication between lower management and upper management is just so vast that it is hard to get the information where it's needed, when it's needed, and it's usually too late. So we're going to work on diversifying and cross-training. If you diversify, then you could have people in different areas knowing what the other area is doing, which could help your communication problem. Also, cross-training, you could have people specialized in one area, but also understanding, hey, this area is doing this and this, for us to work together to have one main focus. They have been spread across the world, and they have done great things. Charities, recycling, grants, they have done, selling Coke products. But they need to go back to their main focus. And one of those right now is building relationships with other businesses. And they are even willing to take a loss in profit to make sure that they make their other relationships happy. So if they take a step back, they have focused on that main thing. They need to restructure the communication and how information is addressed from top management down to bottom management, because they have just gotten too big, they've gotten too fat, and they need to downsize their communication. But they could also diversify it, so they could be spread across where different areas could come and they could communicate with each other to get back to the main goal. And so it's like when you're making a car, you have different engineers and designers that puts the pieces together, but unless they work together, they cannot make the car run. So we're going to switch over to our second recommendation and refocus on recycling.
All right, so in talking about our second recommendation, that's going to be recycling. Now, literally every single product that CCBCC makes is 100% recyclable. Everything is a plastic bottle, a glass bottle, a tin can. All of these things can be recycled. However, the huge issue that we're running into now is they're not being recycled. Now, this has become a nationwide issue, and such you're even seeing a lot of people voting for the Green Party, specifically in order to deal with these kind of issues. Landfills are overflowing rapidly, so this green movement is not able to keep up yet at this point. This is something where Coca-Cola and CCBCC can really take a strong stance on, lead the industry towards going to a much more healthier, greener movement. One of the problems with that right now, however, is they can do better to make it easy for people to recycle. Now, it's not easy right now. You have to really kind of go searching for a recycling bin instead of a trash can, as you will pretty much find anywhere. You won't find those recycling cans. So one thing that Coca-Cola Bottling Company Consolidated can do is offer grants, specifically in our case to universities, because that's where we are right now. Offer these grants to universities in order to help them pay for more recycling bins. Giving out rewards also is going to be something that will be very beneficial to them. For instance, even upping the returns you can get for turning in glass bottles, tin cans, or plastic bottles. Finally, we need to talk about social media, because as big as the green movement is, social media is much, much larger. Now, CCBCC is a very unknown brand. However, they can still ride off the coattails of Coca-Cola in this instance. They need to be, between them and Coca-Cola, they need to be talking to each other, figuring out the best way to go about advertising that they're going to stick with this green movement here. So however many tweets, retweets, hashtags, likes, shares, woofs, whatever have you, that is all going to increase, number one, your brand name, which is what we're really driving for here. Number two, that's going to help the environment, which is potentially even a bigger issue. However you want to look at that, you can decide for yourself. So in conclusion, talking about both the growth and communication and the recycling for Coca-Cola Bottling Company Consolidated, these are things that we have explained that they can certainly work on and continue to grow and do better things as a very large multinational corporation. And thank you very much for your time.